Okay, everyone. My name is Brandy Ross, and I'm Chief of Staff here at Blacks and Green, and I want to welcome you to our event. We're actually going to start off with opening remarks from Naomi Davis, our founder and CEO of Blacks and Green, to get us started and fire us up. So without much ado, here's Naomi Davis.
Greetings, cousins. How are you all doing? So tickled to have you here at our monthly webinar series for May. We are just really honored to host you in this learning journey. We are accompanied by our partners in the Big Justice TCTAC, Kim Foreman, Environmental Health Watch. We have Devin Day and Todd Rusk of the University of Illinois Smart Energy Design Assistance Center, or CEDAC. We have representatives from Black environmental leaders, the University of Illinois School of Public Health, MTerra, the Midwest Tribal Energy Resources Association, and our network of technical assistance providers are here at your disposal to really get your game on here in the age of the Biden-Harris trillions. We're in a waterfall moment, historic in nature, larger than Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the New Deal, which changed everything back 100 years ago, which it's bigger than the COVID bailout, bigger than the bank bailout, just resources that we are very excited to get you ready for and get you connected to. We are specializing in four kinds of service categories. One, get your paperwork together for the smaller, up and coming CBOs and even those who are tried and true, but just haven't had the capacity to double back and tighten their paperwork so they can qualify for funds. We're committed to working with those CBOs, community-based organizations who are ready to partner with municipalities and go for the much larger funds, 100 million, 200, 300 million and more for infrastructural projects. We are opening, and just thrilled to do so, our energy justice portfolio. And we've got a 12-point energy justice portfolio that we're happy to share with you. Why reinvent the wheel? We've got two important projects going on right now, a geothermal pilot for our community and a 9-megawatt solar project, community owned. And last but not least, our sustainable square mile, a system we're offering for replication where you live. So that's my little nugget. And I am excited, honored, and ready to introduce Trey Scott, our regional director, who has curated this program with his team and is ready to stand and deliver. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much, Naomi, for that inspiring talk. We're going to move forward and start with a poll. So you just see a poll coming up on your screen, and the question is, rate your level of knowledge about the Big Justice TCTAC. Okay? We want to gauge your knowledge in the beginning, and we'll ask you again at the end to see how well we did with informing you of our services and who we are and what we're about. So take some time and the poll. I'll give it some more time, a few minutes here. We get answers in. Can everyone see the poll? Okay, So it was launched. Let's see. So the poll should come up on your screen like this. I'm gonna end the poll and I'm gonna relaunch it now. Maybe it's a technical issue. So let's try it again.
If we took the poll, should we take it again, Brandy?
I'm relaunching it right now. Because it looks like I wasn't getting any feedback into the poll. I'm just asking, I guess just from a show of hands, um, if you just raise your hand, if you can't see the poll, if you have any issues, scrolling through. Okay, so it looks like we have we're middle of the way. We have some people that are very knowledgeable. They came here with a good amount of information and they can share with others. And then we have people who are very knowledgeable. So you may already be part of our TikTok and be receiving services or phone calls. And then we have people here that have no knowledge, or not familiar with Big Justice TikTok at all. So by the end of this session, we hope that you'll be very knowledgeable and have an in-depth understanding that you're able to explain to others. That is our goal for this event as far as your knowledge. Moving forward, we're going to have some words from Jonathan Scott or Trey Scott over the TikTok. He's going to introduce his team as well as just the overall structure as far as the grant and and what services we offer.
Hello, my name is Trey Scott. So I serve as a regional director for the Big Justice TCTAC. The Big Justice TCTAC is a pivotal initiative aimed at fostering thriving communities through comprehensive support and services. We were selected by the EPA and DOE as one of 17 environmental justice thriving communities technical assistance centers. With the $10 million grant over 5 years, the TCTAC is dedicated to advancing environmental justice across the EPA Region 5 territory, which includes 35 tribal lands in the states of Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, and Wisconsin. This initiative is part of the Biden-Harris administration Justice 40 initiative, ensuring that 40% of the benefits of certain federal investments flow through disadvantaged communities. I serve as a regional director, and also on this call, I have many of my staff that work with me here at BIG to serve this TikTok. I have LaWan Council. So she's our first ever state coordinator. So we're kicking off in the state of Michigan, and we're going to have coordinators in Wisconsin, Indiana, and also Minnesota, because we already have sub partners that's in Ohio and Michigan and Illinois. So we want to definitely have a point of contact in each of these states, so you all can have someone that you can touch, someone that's very knowledgeable of the community, that we can outreach and get more people accessing these services, because this is all about, we want you to share with your neighbors and different community groups in the city, because what we're developing is a network where as many certain grants, opportunities, and resources, that this is intended to be a network that exists beyond this grant, so we can always continue to provide capacity and support to one another. And then also,
Trey?
yes.
May I also say, just for clarification, that we are hiring. We are hiring those 3 full-time remote positions: Wisconsin, Minnesota, and what?
And it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, and I think it's one more navigator position that
We
we're
have
hiring
we
for.
have an Indiana candidate who's onboarding now. So Wisconsin and Minnesota.
And then we have 2 part-time staff. We have Nuri Medina the second, and we also have Sydney Lovelace. So they help us in this office. Then we have Brandy. Brandy helps Brandy Ross, that you all have met, and also Nicole Murphy. And so we have a robust team that we're adding to make sure that we give you all the technical service and assistance that you need, and also on our structure with our partners, which you will all meet in the breakout rooms, that we have Black environmental leaders. They help with outreach. We have Environmental Health Watch in Cleveland, Ohio, so they help with capacity building. We have Terra, they serve our tribal communities. We have the University Illinois Chicago School of Public Health, so they help with grant writing services and technical assistance. And we also have our partners at CDAC who help with our energy projects. So you'll all meet them all today roughly, and I can pass over so they can explain more about what they do and you can introduce their team.
May I say that James Balanoff is not here today, but he is one person you may have met if you participated with us last month in our Writing for Green grant writing focus. He's on staff full-time, and he is the designated grant support specialist as a navigator. And we know many of you are out here to get grant support. And he's a perfect person to help you walk through that process and deepen your skill. Can't write it for you, but definitely can get you in the queue and steward you through.
Can you repeat his name again, please?
Well, you're going to go through Trey, our regional director, but his name is James Balanoff.
Okay. So Trey, did you want to introduce our partners?
Yeah, so I can introduce our partners right now. And so basically we have Environmental Health Watch, and I pass over to Kim and Ariana.
Hello, everyone. Great to see you here. We're going to conduct our short breakout, but Environmental Health Watch is a 40-year-old plus 40-plus-year-old nonprofit organization. We work on healthy people, healthy communities, and healthy homes. And we work in community with residents in partnership, building capacity there, run multi-sector partnerships, do both local and national projects. We also have done a lot of research on healthy homes. So we have a lot of knowledge on that, and just looking forward to meeting folks and working with people. I know Ariana was at the airport. I don't know if she's on yet.
I am.
Oh, hey, oh, there you go. Ariana's the other support from Environmental Health Watch, and really would be probably the main contact you'll be hearing from if you're in our system and working with us.
Okay, and our next partner is our Black environmental leaders.
Hello, everyone. I'm Celeste Treese with Black Environmental Leaders. Black Environmental Leaders is an Ohio-based organization that focuses on policy recommendations and advocacy around the state, also raising awareness around environmental justice issues. Our role here is to provide outreach support and community engagement support and capacity building. So great to see everyone, and happy. I'll pass it to my teammate Renaud.
Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to say hi. I work very closely with Celeste and our counterpart, Jason Lee Jones, who's not able to make this call. Looking forward to working with you and offer the services that we provide. One thing I do want to highlight that Celeste alluded to is one thing that we do is we do asset mapping. So we are creating and continuing to edit and add to a very comprehensive list of resources across our 6-state coverage area. And these are resources that our navigators have access to. So when you're working with them, they can pull from this asset map resources, organizations, individuals, and potential grants that can benefit you and help move your work forward. And with that, I will pass it back over to Trey, I believe.
Okay, and our next partners, we have Devin Day and Todd Russ at CDAC.
Good morning, thank you. I'm Todd Rusk at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, CDAC, that is the Smart Energy Design Assistance Center. Happy to be a part of this Thriving Communities Technical Assistance Center. Our mission is to reduce the energy footprint of Illinois and beyond. And so we do that by providing technical assistance to individual, small organizations, large organizations, working with individual buildings, portfolios of buildings, statewide agencies. My background is mechanical engineering and energy engineering. I've been doing energy technical assistance for 25 years. And in our breakout session, we'll talk more about examples of types of energy technical assistance topics that we might engage in, and our approach to providing that technical assistance, and host a Q&A to address any questions that you might have. Devin.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you all. I'm Devin Day. I'm the Engagement and Program Specialist for CDAC. And as Todd said, we're excited to meet you and get to know you a little bit better, and find out some of your needs, and maybe even answer some questions, especially during that breakout session. So looking forward to it. Thanks, Trey.
Okay, no problem. And our next partner, MTerra, they're very active in our tribal communities, but they were not able to join us on this call. So I will pass to Saurabh Erdal from the University of Illinois Chicago School of Public Health.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're honored to be in your service. I'm Saurabh Erdal. I'm a professor in environmental and occupational health sciences at the University of Illinois Chicago School of Public Health. We specialize in anything related to environmental justice. Particularly, our expertise is on identification and assessment of environmental exposures and hazards in all kinds of environmental media, like air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and characterization of health risks associated with community exposures, and development of risk management alternatives to reduce environmental pollution burden on our communities and protect community and public health. We are tasked to provide technical assistance to communities and municipal governments, entities across Region 5, in designing, in analyzing, and evaluating projects at the intersection of health equity, environmental, energy, and climate justice, and also provide regulatory science policy development in environmental justice and equity. We also provide significant grant writing, searching and writing, and support in all sorts of areas, from project design to creating, providing support in budgeting, administration of grants. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to working with those who come to us for assistance. Thank you, Trey.
Okay, no problem. And moving on, we can discuss our menu of services. So we offer services in 6 categories: grant seeking and writing, community engagement, assistance, capacity building, sustainable square mile replication, project implementation, and energy justice portfolio. And so when grant seeking and writing, we help search for funding, because we actually have a portal where you can find various grants for various projects that you have. And we're developing our website, taking it to a next level to be able to more serve you better, because that's something that during this first year of the TCTAC, we've been hearing a lot of feedback, and that we want to make sure that as we advance going forward, that we're responsive to the needs of you all, because we're here to serve you all. And so we offer search for funding and support. We offer grant writing support. As Naomi stated, that we have James Balanoff here. He has a background in grant writing. I also have a background in grant writing, so we can definitely help you with support. research for RFP narrative development, because that's something that I did in previous roles working for the public and private sector, is writing RFPs and responding to RFPs. And we also offer grant writing training, which many of you all attended the Writing for Green. We also offer community engagement assistance, empowering.
Trey, may I also say, in where grants are concerned, we have a weekly newsletter that many of you are already receiving. If you haven't received it, it's because you haven't been a member of our circle of clients. But as of today, those of you who are going to register for ongoing services, if you haven't already, will receive the weekly newsletter, which always has new grants that are fresh onto the market for your consideration.
Hey, and we offer community engagement assistance. And so that's one of the services that Black Environmental Leaders offer, and also ourselves at BIG. But basically, we do community engagement training. We help you develop community engagement plans and actually, find grant funding to actually implement those community engagement plans. And then third, in terms of capacity building, that's something that our partners at Environmental Health Watch, they engage into. So that includes like organizational development support, infrastructure development support, project management support, financial and grant management, marketing plan development assistance, board development assistance, and program design support. So one of our events, Get Your Paperwork Together, that's an offshoot of this capacity building section. And also with project implementation, in terms of design and information, that's something that, here at BIG, that we serve as a staff in terms of providing technical assistance, because previously, and this kind of goes hand in hand with Sustainable Square Mile Replication, which is a member menu of services. In my previous role in the public and private sectors, I have implemented a lot of projects. If you're familiar with Detroit, the greater Corktown area, I did a lot of projects in greater Corktown. I have a background as an urban planner, so that's something that we can help you all in terms of project implementation. And we also, Naomi, you can speak to this also, like kind of a big win here at BIG in terms of in the energy justice portfolio, that we can actually help you all with assistance. Hey, you're on mute, Naomi.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. The Sustainable Square Mile is that walk to work, walk to shop, walk to learn, walk to play village, where African Americans own the businesses, own the land, and live the conservation lifestyle. That means that there are households and homesteads that produce their own energy, grow their own food, clean their own water, and recycle their own waste. And the Sustainable Square Mile system is set up so that it produces two outcomes. Number one, it's going to increase household income via the new green economy by those who are stewarded in the process. You got to sign up for it, make a commitment, and it's a free coaching and mentoring service across 3 years. And then also, it's going to create an oasis of resilience against the harms of climate crisis right where you live. And those of you who are experiencing those harms right now know them well. You may not know them as EJ, you might not know them as climate crisis, but indeed they are. And then we do that using 3 approaches. We're going to increase the rate neighbor-owned businesses are created and sustained. We're going to build the capacity of neighbors to own, develop, and manage the property in their community. And again, remember and reignite that conservation lifestyle, which is rooted in our Great Migration legacy heritage. The energy justice portfolio, we can go into more detail later, but basically from the solar roof-mounted neighborhood single-family home to the multifamily residence to ground-mounted multi-megawatt projects. We have seasoned experts, and of course, the CTAC is one of our leading partners in that realm. But where the money is now, available. You wanna come get it for the infrastructural projects. Energy affordability is a civil right. It's a human right. And we want to make sure that everybody, right where you live, is organizing, not just for you singularly, but organizing, whether it's your block or whether it's your walkable village, to have sovereignty. Our second principle of green village building: each village produces and stores its own energy for light, heat, and transportation, and owns its means of production. End of speech.
Okay,
And now we can move to the service delivery model, which will be led by Brandy Ross.
okay, so the service delivery model consists of four major phases: as initiation, planning, delivery, and closing. Within these various phases, you'll have activities that will be executed. To begin, we'll start with the client intake. That's when you fill out the intake form, and that intake form has questions related to basically what you're trying to do. We're asking just general questions. What's your organization? If you don't have one, put in A. You have the autonomy to put in what you know and what you have, and we'll take the information that you bring to us, and we'll do an assessment. So our navigators do. I like to just call it an assessment, and then a resource assignment. So whether that resource is to one of our partners for technical assistance, or to another resource, maybe to assist you with a particular issue or a particular hurdle that you're trying to overcome that maybe does not fall within technical assistance, but something that can still help you or get you to the point of getting to technical assistance, we still assign that resource to you or assign you to that resource. So our goal is to basically take you as you are, do an assessment, and then get you to the proper resource. That's all within initiation. Planning, at this point, once you are ready for technical assistance and we get you navigated to a partner that's going to take you on your program or your project that you want to execute under technical assistance, we'll do something called scope development. So we'll figure out what it is that you want to achieve, what are your goals, what are the outcomes, the outputs, and things, and all the action steps that coincide with those goals and those outputs and whatnot. And then we assign POCs, we come up with an agreement, and we determine, okay, this is how long it's going to take. Of course, enter it into the agreement, and then we go into execution. So basically scoping the request, or whatever it is that you're asking for, and then coming to set terms of agreement so that we can move forward on the same footing. And then delivery, execute the plan. So execute what's in the agreement between the parties, and then we kind of go into a monitoring, review, and evaluation process as you're going into execution. So throughout that time, suppose like your execution of your project or the assistance that you're receiving takes longer than, takes 90 days. Well, within 60 days, you're going to receive a 60-day client review. And this is getting your feedback on how things are going so that we can take your feedback, put it into the feedback loop, take lessons learned, any information that we can glean from what you're experiencing, and then enter that into the processes and procedures that we already have and use that to improve our processes. Moving forward from delivery, when we go into closing, so once the plan is executed, we fulfill the agreement, we go into another kind of feedback loop where we're asking for your feedback, we're asking for the partner's feedback or anyone involved, all the key stakeholders to provide feedback on just how everything went so that we can improve our processes, get additional lessons learned and implement that feedback. And then we archive the record so that if you come back and say, hey, I was within the TCTAC, I did this, project, we should be able to pull that information for you and say, hey, here's the record, here's the history, because we're archiving. So that's just a breakdown of our service delivery model. Some key milestones within service delivery. is the intake. So the intake again is initiated with a form, and then the assessment. The assessment is done by the navigator. That navigator is going to get you to the proper resource, and then we go into planning. Planning that's done with the partner, and that can be a series of phone calls, emails. It's going to be a series of communications that's going to get you and that person or that partner in sync with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then we go into delivery. And at that point, while the service is being delivered, we go into a monitoring phase, a kind of hybrid delivery monitoring phase before we close it out once the service is complete. So all in all, this process takes about from intake all the way to getting to the point of having an agreement and executing is about 25 days. So that's just the process. And honestly, it could go faster if you already have a set project or idea of what you're trying to do, and all your programmatic and operational information is available to the partners. There's going to be homework questions and whatnot. If all the information is provided in an expeditious manner, then the delivery will be expedited. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. The delivery phase is the bulk of the time. The planning phase is the bulk of the time within this process. And that planning phase only goes as fast as the inputs and as fast as people are willing to work on both sides of the on both sides of the coin. So just keep that in mind as we move forward with these timelines. We hope to expedite things as much as possible to get you to technical assistance faster, but we also want to make sure that we're thorough and we're providing a complete holistic solution to the issues that you bring to us. Okay, so that's a little bit about our service delivery milestones and service delivery model.
Okay, so first off, I just want to thank you all for attending today because I know it's definitely a dedication of your time that you all have busy lives. So definitely thank you for all coming, and thank you all for being patient with us because we want to make sure that, we give you all the best technical assistance and the best service delivery. So through any step, always feel free to reach out to us to let us know like how we're doing, because we're definitely trying to improve as we go along with this whole process. So next steps, we definitely want to hear from you all in terms of like what services that you all need, because we offer our menu of service within this TCTAC, but we're a network of TCTACs across the country where it's various resources and services that's available. So going forward, we'll make sure also about those other services that are offered, because we want to make sure that we all are strong standing communities and organizations going forward. So our next upcoming events, we're going to have office hours. So those office hours are going to be bi-weekly. So they're going to be virtual and in person, because especially in our various offices with the different team members, we and everybody that's in the Chicago area, that if you all attended the launch, that we had a green living room. So we're always looking to have virtual time so we can convene, but I love face-to-face time because you have to build that relationship and understand your projects intimately. We're going to launch a lunch and learn webinar series. So that's designed to be a monthly series. So we're shooting for, I think, every third Tuesday. And so we'll have more information about that going forward if you signed up for our newsletters. And we're also doing community pop-up events. So one of those things is to be there in person, because we know you all across, we serve Region 6. We have partners all across Region 6, and where we don't have partners.
It's 6 states.
Region 5, I'm sorry. Region 5, and we have 6 states and 35 tribal areas. So it's important to us that not only, even though we're headquartered in Chicago and we have partners spread throughout the region, we want to come to you all because we believe that the best engagement and outreach is coming in your communities and being able to do site visits, being able to just pop up and you all bring a host of community leaders that you know in other communities, because we want to ensure that everyone has access to these resources that are available, because we look at this as a once in a generation opportunity. But the success of this program, it's going to help advocate for more resources that we need in our communities going forward. So it's really on all of us to make sure, we're successful with this project, but also we want to see successful projects implemented. We want to make sure ensure that when you come to us from technical assistance, that you leave satisfied, and that, you know, we do like stuff like feedback forms. We constantly want to hear from you. Brandy, you can, if you're not in our system, we have an intake form, and that you can share that link with other community members that you know, and we can get back to them. And so we do when you come to us for intake, we want to make sure that you feel at home, that you know us, that when you go from the initial intake, you'll get contact from BIG, and then we pass you to a partner. You'll get an email and a phone call that says, this is the partner and this is who is serving you. So it's not just organizations, it's people that you actually know. It's that we're real people here to deliver services, and we want you to feel comfortable with that. And also, for also going forward, share our contact information, Brandy, for the last slide. And also, we for our contact information, you can email us at, we have a form, BIG Justice TCTAC. It goes to everybody within my team. We also have a website where we're in the process of revamping our website so we can make it more user friendly, and we have more resources available. And now all of these updates, they'll go through our weekly newsletter that goes out. And we also have a toll-free number that will get back to you when you contact us. We're within 24 hours. So if you do not hear from us, feel free to contact me, because it's on me in terms of ensuring that this program is successful. And as somebody that comes from the grassroots sector, been in the public and private sector, that this is very much important and near and dear to my heart in terms of seeing thriving communities all across the board. And that's why I was so excited to join the team and join BIG. And I look forward to working with you all going forward over the next few years. And I'll leave the floor open for last words from Miss Naomi Davis.
Hi, everybody. I'm just enjoying the chat and getting to learn a little bit about some of the people I don't know on the line, and wanting to really hear any questions or testimonies or input. Really getting to know you is a key part of this process. And so we have you know, and it's why we do the polls that we do. And I wonder, Brandy, if you can bring us back to that. Getting to know you means really it's a two-way conversation. It's not a presentation. Brandy, you want to take it from there? We're on.
Yeah.
We did poll number 1 already?
Yes, we did poll number 1. That was asking for people's knowledge of the TCTAC, and now we are doing poll number 2. We have about 13%, like that, going up. So poll number 2, just asking what people are interested in for the upcoming webinar series, just so we can stack rank these categories or these topics in the order that interests you most.
And I want to say a word about capacity building. It's a huge category, but as I mentioned, we're trying to keep a tight focus on getting people ready in 2 very different realms. Realm number 1 is your paperwork together? Because you can't apply for grants. You can't use the money from grants. You can't do any of the implement. Everything follows getting your paperwork together. And I see Mary Alice Adams' hand up. And I'll say the other part is, you know, we want to make sure there's $4 trillion. You've never heard of that much money being available to the street, so-called. I want to make sure that large projects, infrastructure projects, deferred maintenance at the municipal level, is it your digital divide? Is it an energy infrastructure? Is it water and sewer? Is it weatherization at scale? We know we need that money. We've been paying into the system. We are deserving of that money. Are we organized for it? We want to work with organizations that want to work with municipalities. We can match make, we can help you ideate on those grants, and we can help you draw down your part of the $1 trillion waterfall. Mary Alice, what's your question or comment?
Thank you, Naomi, and it's a pleasure to finally speak with you. My question is, when it comes to capacity building, me and some other organizations have been working and lobbying our lawmakers for years now for this to finally come down the pipeline. It's here. And I have been telling them to get ready, so that we're ready to receive it. Okay, so now we have you all because it didn't happen. And I'm glad that we have you all savvy minds. Some knew that this was coming down the pipeline too. Now, and racism is just a real thing, but we need our allies. I get that. So we have this organization that has come forth, and I just happened as an elected official during that time. I was starting a nonprofit on my own, knowing that that seat did not belong to me. It's the people's seat. So I lost the last election because our people don't vote. This other organization has stepped up to the plate, and not all of them, the majority of them look like, or I should say, don't look like us. And that's okay, as long as they're for the right thing and the right reason. But I want to know, I'm just confused because I think that we need to be the leaders for what we have fought long and hard for.
You get no argument out of me, Mary Allison, and of course,
If
many
you
people are
understand what I'm saying,
Many people are familiar with our mantra, which is flip the script. Don't pay white people to help Black people, pay Black people to help ourselves. And it's real. Learning how to manage the money according to federal standards is not intuitive. It doesn't just happen. It's not for the faint of heart. You need to be ready. You need to get in there, roll up your sleeves, and have that learning by doing. There's no substitute for managing your own money. And you start where you start, and you select your contractors, you select your subawardees. And so the solution to the quandary that you're describing, Mary Alice, is to get in on the game. You're here, you're alert, you're wise to the opportunity. Did you register for the TCTAC? Did you do an intake form yet?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Well,
Okay, beautiful.
yes.
So it's destined to be. We're at Blacks and Green rewriting the narrative of what it means to be Black in America. It's a consciousness, it's a strategy, and it's tactics, and it's looking at the possibility for the world to consider that Black communities are synonymous with beauty, prosperity, comfort, and joy. And we're going to do this by doing it. So if you, what's your what is your area? Where are you located?
I'm in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We just hosted our last PGA.
Okay,
Yeah.
Benton Harbor, Michigan. And we know that you're an important location, an important story, an important part of the African American journey. And so I don't know which area you signed up for, but we're going to be right there with you, advancing, organizing, and developing. Just whatever, as Kim has continued and her team has continued to remind folks from Environmental Health Watch, the sustainable square mile work is really about what's your vision for your place, and how can we come in and provide the technical assistance to steward you toward into the fulfillment of your dreams. So thank you for speaking up. Let's get to work.
Right.
Do we have
Okay.
poll results? Are people responding or?
So about 75% of participants have responded. Would like to get that number up. See, and we're gonna make sure to end the poll here. Okay, so 66 of 88 people responded, and it looks like grant seeking and writing is the number one
Yeah.
request. Not surprised there. Go.
And I want to say something about grant writing and requests. If there's a way for us to gauge, do we understand people are in a stage of readiness, or are they more in their get your paperwork together category? I mean, we're going to help identify grants, and we're going to help you go through either writing for green or other processes to get your grants written. But where do people, is there a way to get a temperature on where people stand on that?
I could
We
probably
got,
launch another poll.
yeah, let's launch another poll and see where people are on the spectrum. Are you getting your paperwork together to be able to write powerful grants? Do you have it together and your focus really right now is on finding the grants? Are you a seasoned grant writer and you really are ready to step up your game? The grant to do this work over the next 5 years was a $10 million grant. But trust me, we started with a $25,000 EPA grant, and we were glad to get it. And we, began our learning journey in the federal environment with with that small start. The thing is to start. One of the things to also understand in terms of grant management, which is one of the areas we are also offering support in, is to understand the federal requirements and the Code of Federal Regulations and issues like competitive procurement of resources, issues like how you manage the reporting requirements, the documentation of time. These are things that we can work with folks on because we're learning. We're looking for that 100 million, 200, $300 million grant. And we know that there are Black organizations around the country who are stepping up simply because, well, not simply because, but when you go ahead and take that action step, you're inspiring someone else to do it too. And we know that a lot of folks around the country have thought, if Blacks in Green can do that, so can I. And it's true. So we want to make sure that everyone is believing in themselves, believing in the great possibilities, and that we are we're working together in a network. Okay, so
we have a couple
Brandy?
questions in the chat.
Elza, you want to go ahead and call them out?
Yes. When is the next grant writing class?
Okay, so with that, we're setting up a series of webinars, and we're gonna rack and stack these media service topics that you just voted on in order of most important, and grant writing did come up as number one. So look forward to seeing next grant writing class in the near future. I know that that it can be part of our webinar series that Trey Scott explained.
James Palinoff is actually in the session today. James, you want to introduce yourself and writing for Green and some of the specific elements or options for moving through that grant stewardship process? James, are you still on?
I don't believe he's on the call, Naomi.
Okay. Define get your paperwork together. When we launched in February, we published a booklet with the launch. I was looking to see if I have it here, which had two specific checklists of the kinds of documents you would definitely need to have in place. Trey, if you could make a note that we'll send those lists out to those who register for inside of our intake process. Again, we're looking to really support people in a very pragmatic way once they have become part of the cohort. So it's a bunch of stuff, and we can be very specific, and these lists will give you a definitive view of what that consists of. Elza, what are the other questions?
Someone's asking if there is a list of participants to share from everybody who's on the call today, basically, to connect with the others. So will we be sharing a list of participants for folks to connect together?
Not just yet. We are pulling together the cohort inside of a structure of interrelationships that, you know, we don't have permission at this point to share other people's information with other people. But the point of the network is to do that. We're looking at pulling that system together in year 2, which starts next week. So stay tuned. Next question, Elsa?
I think that's all we got.
Okay.
Someone wanted their definition of get your paperwork together.
I think she just read that.
Yeah, I answered that by saying that there are 2 lists in our February launch playbook that we can publish to the folks who register for the inside the intake.
Okay, so we'll just keep a note of that. Sorry about that.
One of the previous questions was, are the breakouts recorded?
I believe so.
Each of the breakouts that we can share.
I'll have to pull down the video recordings, but I'm pretty sure they are recording. They provide separate recordings for each room.
Okay.
I'll have to check out within Zoom.
And it's a question, what is the area of Region 5? So Region 5 covers 6 states and 35 tribal areas. So it's Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
I thought our regional director of engagement of communities, Bobby Boyce, said that it was 12 in Region 5.
Oh, no, so Region 5,
Okay.
Region 5 for the EPA, so it's 6 states.
Oh, okay, good deal, good deal.
Okay. So we have one more poll, and this is just to rate your knowledge now about the Big Justice TCTAC. So I'm going to launch the poll. And just no. Let's see. All right, so hopefully by now you're more knowledgeable about the TCTAC and services that we provide, and can explain our services to other people and be able to communicate clearly what it is that we do.
I have a question about EPA. Is there someone on that you talk to address this question about the EPA?
What's your question?
Oh, my question is, I saw grants related to community change grants.
Yes.
And I haven't applied yet because I was wondering if I believe you have to go through sam.gov, but I also was wondering about the paperwork with SAM.gov.
Mhm.
And if it is, is my organization ready for that? We're a smaller organization, so I don't know what
Well,
applying.
I can give you some basics about it, Dr. Adams.
Okay.
They come into two categories, one that's up to 20 million and one that's up to 3 million, so 1 to 3 million. And with regard to sam.gov, you're not going anywhere until you've done that. So it is foundational for most grants anywhere. It is a support service that we can provide for you. But your readiness to manage federal funds is a different equation. And so you may be seasoned in program management, program design and management. You may be effective in those realms, and that's wonderful. And I'm encouraging you to believe that you can step up into receiving and managing federal funds. But it sounds a little bit like you're at the early part of the learning curve, and that you will want to go through a rigorous course of get your paperwork together, which is very delineated, which you can have a beginning, middle, and an end to it, and it's going to set you up for inquiring or seeking funds. The University of Minnesota is one of the TCTACs, and I'm told that they are specializing in organizations that are interested in applying for the Community Change Grant. And so we can definitely refer you there. And Kim, maybe you want to say something about that process?
Yeah, so as a nonprofit, I literally had to start over. Even though we were 40 years old, when I became a director, I had to rebuild. So like stepping your way into the federal grants. They have some smaller environmental justice grants. And I do want to make it clear, this is about environmental justice. The Justice 40 money is about that. So we want to be clear about what the purpose of the dollars are for. And so I've done a lot of smaller grants and built up to, and I'm applying for a community change grant to support the implementation and execution of sustainable square mile, right? This money that TCTAC has is not going to supply all the dollars for the sustainable square mile implementation. So we have to create stacks. Even with that process, there's a lot of documents, right? But not to scare you, but I've been to where I didn't have any staff to now we're at almost 20 people. So it's a way to do it. And we can walk people through some of that. But no, you got to be ready, right? We don't want to set you up for success. And be super transparent about where you actually are versus where you want to be. And sometimes people go for a money grab and then you can't manage the grant, and it'll be very problematic. So we want to help you, aid you to the right places based on where you are.
I am a 501c3, and I have a sub-grant.
Wait a minute, who's speaking?
Muriel.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
have
and
a
we do have
sub-grant.
two other hands up. So
Oh, I'm
if
sorry.
you would, no, make your point. We want to hear you. But we want you to know that the case by case situational management is not going to happen on this call. Okay. I see we got 4 hands up now. So, Muriel, not to cut you off, did you want to have a closing word there?
Oh, I was just trying to give Kim more information about the organization, just kind of the basic. But I'm done.
We can do that offline, and we're happy to have you in the mix.
All right, thank you.
Mary Alice, may I go to the people who haven't spoken yet? Okay. Campaign for Equitable Funding.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Letitia Hollinsworth. I just wanted to pinpoint on something that Kim has stated, as far as like getting more people involved. And I know this ain't a good time to talk about it, but is it possible, can we have like a session on that so we can, learn how to get people more involved?
If you're talking about community engagement, like when you say get people more involved in your work, in your place, is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's just overall, like she stated she was by herself, if you
Ah.
had to start back over.
Okay, but there's a difference when we talk about capacity building, we're typically talking about the capacity of an organization and how do you get from zero to 100 in the way that Kim has described. And of course, I've walked that walk as well. So we are soldiers who understand how to build organizational capacity. If you're talking about building participation with members of your community or stakeholders of interest, that's what we generally call community engagement. Which are you focused on?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Okay. All right. And a lot of both is available to you through the TCTAC. Have you filled out an intake form already?
No, I haven't. Is it possible? Can I get the link in the chat so I can?
Yeah, the link is in the chat. If you would please, team, put the link in again right now. So, and I would encourage anybody on this call who has not um uh who has not completed the intake process, go ahead and do it. This is what we're here for. You can get there from here. But just coming to the workshops, it's kind of like looking through the storefront window. You're gonna see, but you're not gonna transact. Does that answer your questions then?
Yes, it does.
Okay, beautiful. And I'm gonna move on to Dr. Sean Renee Foreman. Hi,
Hello, how are you?
great.
Well, I guess my question kind of was answered. I want to actually get into the conversation with the community and change grant and being able to just have my I's dotted and my T's crossed. So I don't know if after filling out that intake form, if that will get me to the point of making sure that I have my paperwork together and just being able to manage those funds as Kim had stated.
Well, let me answer it two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the intake form is your beautiful beginning. That's going to get
Okay.
you in the queue. In terms of learning how to manage federal grants, you're not gonna, we can provide an overview and training for you to understand what
Okay.
that consists of, but it's deeply complex,
Okay.
and it is not something you're gonna learn on the fly. You can learn as you're doing it if you know the kinds of things to anticipate and the kind of experts to engage. The community change grant is highly, highly competitive.
Okay.
And which is not to discourage you. It is to
Right.
say that having your paperwork together is sort of the ground floor of that. Having a compelling program and having an expert team will also want to be part of that. Kim, you want to jump in here?
I think it's twofold. If you're already in process, you could connect with EPA directly because they have TA and they've done webinars on the community change grant, and they definitely want people to connect with them if you're already writing it, or they can provide some support with that. So I just want to be clear on what stage you are with it, and then where you need to learn, or if you already in it. I know that EPA provides direct TA for that particular thing because they said it out loud and they've done several webinars on it. So you could go to recordings.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And Dr. Foreman, if you will indicate that in your intake form. We can make sure that you're queued into the URLs and the whatever to get onto their dance card. Okay, the
Okay.
EPA dance card.
Okay.
And we
Thank
have
you.
Vanessa. You're welcome.
Oh,
Vanessa?
hello, everyone. I wanted to touch on the Community Change Grant, EPA. That particular grant, one of the things that it calls for is the establishment of partner relationships. And for most of us non-grassroots, nonprofit organizations, think about it. Here we are, we have been disinvested in our community, and we've been fighting for a long time for the revitalization of our communities. And so many times you're butting heads up against municipalities. You have to excuse me, my tooth. I've got to get a repair on my tooth next week, but it makes me talk funny. But anyway, just wanted to hear your opinion of how do you develop these partnering relationships after here it is all of these years. The city wants to do one thing in support of large businesses that are polluting, that are causing the ills of your community, the disinvestment. And now it's time for us to mend these relationships, or just in general, how do you go about some ideals as to how do you go about convincing others to, hey, let's partner for this grant. And yes, us grassroots nonprofit organizations are going to lead, but we still need your support.
Okay, now I'm going to throw that one over to Kim, but I want to also note that we're over time. And, I think Kim is going to be able to, she's not going to make you happy necessarily with her answer, but she is going to give you the truth. And also look within as to who you are working with and who you do matter to and how you are making friends. And maybe, look at how you can step up your game. Kim?
Yeah, the main thing I've seen is strategy development. A lot of folks don't have a strategy about what the aims are, what the goals are, and who the players need to be. Collaboration is talked about, but when you get into it, you also got to understand conflict management. What do you need from this particular department, not the whole municipality, right? Because there's people inside that will work with you, support you, but they are all different departments. And that's what we have to learn to dissect versus just putting everybody in the same bucket, even if there's things you don't like or don't resonate with. So those are the types of things I'm really interested in working with partners on, or communities on, because you could find another nonprofit to partner with and then figure out relationships. But we have to have a strategy at the end of the day. It can't just be, let's pull these people together for this one purpose. You have to spend time building the right relationships. And I'm not saying everything gonna be perfect, but we have to have a strategy. And that's part of what I've noticed is a big gap in moving things forward.
Great. Thank you.
In conclusion, I do want to introduce Green Umbrella as one of our sub-awardees who are providing technical assistance. And I see you on camera right next to Kim, so that's what triggered my thinking. And I also, because of what Kim said about strategy, which is fundamental. Thank you for that, Kim. I want you to understand Green Umbrella as a network based in a 3-county area of Ohio, for those of you who are from that area, but also a technical assistance provider who can talk to you about what those strategies and structures for aligning on mutual goals can be. Not here and now, but just wanted to make that quick intro. Trey, you want to wrap us up and take us home?
Hello, everyone. Like I said previously, I thank you all for taking the time to join. It's definitely good to match names with faces, because we've been working on our end to make sure that we get you all through the system. And we know it was some hiccups initially, but that's something that we've been working on our end to ensure that we have great service delivery for you all. And like I said before, it's like we're accessible. Like we're people that live in the communities just like you. We definitely have that grassroots focus. We understand the sense of urgency that you need in terms of accessing these funds and the projects that you desire. And so we're here to serve you all. And it's definitely great to hear in terms of the polls on what services that you need, because we want to design our next upcoming sessions, our pop-ups, to make sure that we're delivering you the technical assistance that you need. It's not just us saying, hey, we want to roll out this program. We want to be responsive to your needs, and that we have a great team of staff that's here to serve you all. So I definitely thank you for taking the time to join this webinar. I look forward to working with you all and coming to your communities and meeting you all face to face. And it's going to be a great journey that we're on. And definitely we want to make sure that this is not just getting you through the door. We want to make sure you have something tangible that you leave with after you work with us. So thank you, and you all have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.